This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. But you know, I'm here with my only friends, and that includes my boy Tortu.
I'm back. We're back.
We're fucking back. I don't
Is
know
it
what
because
my
I wore
thing
the
is.
shirt? Is it because I wore the turtle shirt?
I saw it. I looked up and I was like, "Wow, the tort."
Yeah.
When does Guapo get the lead in?
I almost did Guapo today, but I was
yeah.
trying to think of something to do. Like as I was saying the intro, I was like, "Damn, I'm thinking to do Guapo today."
Dude,
but I
it's
couldn't.
actually a really easy transition because instead of Tortua,
It's Tortilla.
there we go. There you go.
The most impressive part about the entire intro is from him going from like 100 to 0. He's just like, "What is poppin'?" And welcome back. Like, how does he do that?
You really missed the opportunity on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
you're
wasn't
right.
here, right?
That would have been good.
Were you not here?
Nah.
You were in Reno.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good tacos in Rio.
Lots of tacos.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, the hotel I was at, it was this all Cinco de Mayo, like everything. There was
No,
this.
turn your volume down.
Turn your laptop volume
Oh
down.
shit!
Fish.
Fish.
It's like we're running a show here, you know? Come on, man.
It's 100% you all the time.
There it is.
98%. Sorry.
There it is. That's the guy you guys all have fucking winning a bracelet this year.
My God.
Real into the maths.
98%. Sorry.
Anyway, the hotel you were staying, the down bed, whatever it was.
So the
Atlantis.
Silver. Nope. I was at the Silver Road Legacy. It's a Harris property, Caesar's property. You know, and yeah, it was nothing but a lot of Spanish people. Like they had the Cinco de Mayo thing, and I was like, I didn't realize it was Cinco de Mayo. And when we left, Corey had said something, and I was like, oh, now it all makes sense.
I had no idea. Why were these margaritas half off?
Well, no, they had like every beer, Mexican beer vendor was out there, and I couldn't put two and two together. Like, oh, okay, I guess it's just
That's right. Conrad Simpson. He just brings, he levels up the program, you know, really makes it a highbrow show. Brings in the culture, the intellect, the maths.
That's what we're here for.
I know. We got it. So what are you getting laid? Like 5-1 on bracelet bets? Maybe 4-1? I mean, you're clearly a massive favorite.
It's probably like 125, but you know, I'll take 113.
I almost got
I mean,
today.
you have 300 chances probably, right? to win one. So.
What did somebody say? 41?
No, Deeb goes, what would you want to crossbook a bracelet bet versus me? And I said, mutually played or my schedule versus your schedule. If the latter, 8-1. And the way that I arrived at that in my head was if I think I'm 35-1 to win a bracelet, and I think Deeb is like, 4-1 or 5-1 to win a bracelet, then it's somewhere around 8-1 to split the difference.
Yeah, no.
But I don't think that's how the math works.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I don't think that. I
And
think,
that's why we have our boy Berkey here. He's the math wizard.
I think my gorilla math sold me a bit short there because a very good player just snaps in and goes, "I'll give you 8-1 against Deeb."
Of course.
I'm like, wait a second, I instantly regret what I've written here. I
A little
meant
bit
18.
of a tangent, but is Sean Deeb usually like a top 5 pick for the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's any year to bet against him, this might be the year because he's gonna still try to train like 5 days a week. He's on a new diet.
You
Yeah.
realize,
I feel like he's
you
gonna be
realize he
so
went down to
exhausted.
You realize he went to the lodge and won the 5K yesterday, right?
No, I get it. But the lodge is way different than playing a full schedule at the World Series. Like he's putting in 12-hour days, 5-6 days a week.
That man's built for this shit.
right.
I will say that as somebody who probably takes my time in the gym more seriously than my time at the table during the World Series, it's fucking hard to stay on a regiment.
Yeah.
Like really, really hard. You definitely, I mean, granted, we're doing the podcast also, and that's another monkey wrench, but it's really tricky to carve out space to sleep, train,
That's
eat
the thing.
properly,
Right.
and play.
Right. You have to get up early if you want to get your workout
Now,
in.
he does have an advantage because he's not like
The mixed
a no
games
limit
start
grinder.
later.
Right.
Yeah, the mixed games start later.
They start later, and they've
but-
reduced the schedule a bit
right,
this
but
year.
for someone like you or like people that are playing no limit specifically, those
in yours, in years past, the most success I had was just lifting at night or on dinner break. But the problem is that I don't want to go to like a commercial gym because I know what I'll do.
And you
I'll
don't
just
have time to drive out to your gym.
I'll just train into like shitty maintenance programs where like I'm not pushing my strength, I'm not pushing my conditioning, I'm not pushing my ability to cut. Like I basically would just like I'd be floating through the next 45 days, which is fine if like making money is your number one objective. But it's summer, baby. I'm trying to have a six pack, whatever I'm rolling into the 4th of July. You know,
wouldn't the optimal training be in the morning? Because I'm assuming after like a 12-hour day of playing, like how much energy do you really have to like go lift?
Well, it's more so a matter of like what's your time window between going to bed and waking up. Because like if you play, say, which I'm not going to. Honestly, I think even if I get a bracelet bet down, I'm not going to play this event. But if you play like the 300 Gladiator,
Can't wait till he registers.
You have to play that.
I can't wait till he fucking
registers
registers it.
You have to play that if you have a bracelet pet. How could you skip it?
honestly, I feel like
costs
the
you
only
no money.
I feel like the only reason I would play it is
12 extra chances.
I really feel like the only reason to play it would be my victory tour. It would just be like going in and playing this down bad fucking tournament where everybody's like, "Good job there, bro! Woo, we were pulling for you."
That would be great. And it would be funny that like you finally win a bracelet and it's in a 300.
It's the Gladiator.
right, exactly. But
honestly, which it'd probably be more impressive because there's going to be 20,000 people.
well, the point I was trying to make is like that event ends at like 4 a.m.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 500 last year was bagging at 3:45.
Yep.
that doesn't sound right.
Okay, well,
It's right.
I'm positive.
I bagged the 500.
Yeah.
last year.
At
Could you see straight?
4 o'clock in the morning.
No. It was like 2.
You made the money at 2.
I'm pretty sure he's
I
right.
think I bagged around.
And then
2.
the turnaround time was like 11 a.m. for the day 2.
Well, here we can figure it out.
Wait, you're just gonna
'Cause
look
I
through our
have the
past text
schedule.
messages?
Oh yeah, well no, I mean for this year's because it doesn't matter what happened last year.
Well, they just play. You play down to a certain percent, right?
Oh yeah, maybe you do.
Yeah, you play down to a certain
No, I thought you
percent.
play so many levels. No.
No, last
Wow.
year was a certain percent.
Not
They played
in
to
these
like
things.
5%.
Oh, that's
or something.
right.
And these
Yeah.
shit shows, you play down to a certain percent, and they just go forever and ever. And then you're like, "What the fuck did I do? Why did I reg?"
I cashed it twice and didn't make day 2 either times. And like I didn't like just sneak in either. Like I like cashed it and played for like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't as bad as you thought. It's you play 22 levels, which are half hour, or down to 15% of the field, whichever is later.
Oh, okay.
Whichever is late.
Yeah.
Whichever
yeah.
is later, but yeah. So at 22 levels, that's 11. Yeah, I mean that's going
Is
to get
15% in the money?
I think it starts at 10 a.m. So it starts at 10 a.m.
I think it started 10 a.m. last year too.
It might have. Yeah, it probably did.
15% is just like making the money.
Correct.
Okay, last year it wasn't. You definitely didn't make the money and quit. I think they played to like 10% of the field or something like that because you
did.
made
Right.
the money and
They
you grinded
Right.
on.
So I
kept
think
playing.
they rectified that because
Okay.
you're right. I mean, it was late. I know it was past 2 o'clock, which is still ridiculous.
And also, like your flight could have been earlier, but like when I played D and E or
oh, you
whatever,
might have played a
whatever
flight
the
that
ladder
started
flight
later or something like that.
I just remember that.
That might be true too.
I just remember all the
Well, they were
complaints.
bigger too, so you played longer.
I just remember all the complaints in the chat about what time it was going to end. Like, should I even
Yeah.
play it? Blah, blah, blah.
I definitely played flights where you were getting rolled back on day 2,
Yeah.
where that obviously wasn't the case necessarily for the early flights. They were the ones setting the
you
precedent.
might actually start with less chips too in this one.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole point that I was trying to make is that if you end at 4 a.m. and then you have a day 2 the following day at like 11, when are you getting a workout in, man?
Yeah, yeah. It's tough.
I mean, like, I don't even know if I'm making the first level.
What do you mean?
shows
Just
that
jerk off and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Call it a workout.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
stranger things have happened. I suppose. I don't know
yeah.
if that's going to get Deeb the million he's looking to acquire.
You really can't miss the days where you have the free time to make the workout, and if you don't feel like doing the workout or you don't feel like you're just like, okay, I have the time to do it. I really got to make sure I get it in.
I mean,
because
that's
there are
true
days
of
that you
like
don't.
that's true of like me and you. That's not true for Deeb. Like Deeb cannot miss days. Period.
Oh, specifically Deeb, no. Right.
Yeah, like that. 40 whatever it is, 47 days, 49 days, 50 days, whatever. Like that's 50 training days. Where I don't know what his current regiment looks like, but like if I'm in his shoes, locked into that bet, you're looking at 4 to 5 hours a day dedicated to exactly this. Winning this bet.
Yeah, it seems him making bracelet bets this year is just counterintuitive.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I agree.
The man's going to win a bracelet. The man's gonna win his weight loss challenge.
Yeah,
I think so, too,
He's
actually.
just gonna win it all. He's just gonna win
honestly
everything.
just
right?
going to crush, and that's the end of
That's
that.
kind of the other thing too. Not that he has a ton of leeway, but if he doesn't make any progress during the exactly during the World Series, if he makes no progress whatsoever, but also doesn't really fall behind, he's still going to be on schedule, in my opinion, to perform. To win this bet. So there is, I guess, the caveat of like, yeah, if I had as much on the line as he does, I probably would make it my job, even during the WSOP, and maybe play a lighter schedule, maybe not chase POY, maybe not make any bracelet bets, kind of thing. But if you fuck that off and you put more emphasis on the poker aspect, probably still going to do okay.
Do you think that the gym helps you with playing?
Me personally?
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think so too.
It's the only thing that keeps me emotionally grounded.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it helps me too. Like, just helps me like clear my mind. And
Wait, what?
yeah, I don't do it, but like, I think when I
help if he did it.
when I did work out, like, it helped me clear my mind. When I was
I
playing.
thought you meant that you thought the word gym meant weed.
No. But
It's hard to. I think it's hard to like to quantify how much it can help a person. But I think like doing the little things, getting the workouts in, maybe some meditation, eating well, like it can't hurt, right? It can only help your bottom line. So I think doing it is just going to benefit you in general.
It
so
just
I think
improves
I think
you.
yeah. So I think doing all these
Honestly,
these things are good and.
you're kind of just built for the like
Right.
the last haul.
Yeah.
Like you just I don't know. You're in this gritty mode. Like I honestly think Deeb's gonna crush this summer.
yeah, I mean, that's my perspective on like working out and training, and a big reason why I do it is just like being that regimented is a big byproduct of like how my mind works and keeping that like inner grit. But for you, like what you're describing as far as like a little bit of an endorphin rush, clearing your head, allowing you to kind of like reach balance, you should just walk the dogs every morning.
Yeah, something like that would work. Yeah.
Like legitimately, if you got 20 minutes of sun, just in a state where you're not rushing,
Yeah.
I think you'd be shocked at how much it would reset your mood. Like if that's literally all you're trying to manufacture, you don't care about like aesthetics or strength or conditioning or anything like that, but you're literally just trying to reset mentally in some capacity. Something as simple as like just walking a mile with the dogs in the sun
Agreed.
would just go. I mean, the days that I'm able to wake up and not immediately grab my phone, but instead take the dogs for a walk or hit the sauna, night and day compared to the ones where it's like I lay in bed for an extra 20 minutes scrolling, and then now I'm late for whatever it is I need to do, podcast, gym, whatever, and I rush through that, miss the sauna, miss the dog walk, or put it back till later in the day. It's not that my day goes to shit, but it's just not as I guess not as efficient top to bottom.
I kind of got the same thing from honestly going in the hot tub in the morning.
That's weird.
Like it's just like it's just kind of stressy. Like if you go in the sauna in the morning, it's the same thing as a hot tub. You're in 104 degree like.
It's not the same thing.
I mean, no, but it is. Like you're still gonna feel like
I understand
the effect.
you're under a little bit of heat stress. Saunas or hot tubs weird to me. I don't even know why I got one. I hate them.
I mean, with the sun, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, but like
We're in Vegas, man.
it's definitely not a sauna. But
No, of course.
for me, the hot tub makes me fatigued always.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. I think it's the fatigue that does it for me.
That's weird.
Like just a slight bit of fatigue because I'm already wired up in my life.
End of the day,
Like-
I could enjoy the hot tub.
Yeah, I think
Like,
I like the fatigue in the
roaring at
morning
midnight.
because like I'm always wired. Like come 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm out. Like I'm up and out. So it's like, I think I need something to like calm me down a little bit. I think that's why the gym was good and like hot tub.
So you're getting back in it.
Nope.
That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on this bottom line thing for Sean. I actually think this might be his toughest series and maybe not even his most profitable. I think just being, and someone mentioned this in chat and it's true, I think being at a caloric deficit, training in the mornings and then putting in long hours, I just think it's going to be much harder for him to have a good year.
Not just somebody said that. King Ephro said that.
Oh, excuse me, King Ephraim.
Yeah. All right. Get it
He
right.
doesn't necessarily have to be at a deficit though, or at least not.
He's at a deficit compared to what he used to do.
Oh, sure, but like, my point is, I guess he doesn't need to like, I don't know exactly what his team has on the books for him or whatnot, but like, say he's been eating at like 20% deficit leading up to the series, and he's starting to get a little accustomed to that. I think rather than generally what you do is you do like a progression, right? So say he starts at eating at like 15% caloric deficit, starts to see some results. Well, you'll reach a plateau. So maybe like in 2 weeks, you reduce it like maybe 1 or 2 percentage points per week, right? Until you keep creating new normals. I think that like as he reaches the series, if he's at a certain deficit and he's starting to feel pretty comfortable with that deficit where it's not affecting his hunger or his ability to think, things along those lines, he could probably just maintain that for the 6 weeks. Like not have you can reshift your goals, right? It's not just all about weight loss. It's also about like strength gain, ability to pack on some muscle and things like that. He could just spend this next 6 weeks putting a big emphasis on maintaining while trying to like convert as much fat to muscle as possible over that time frame. Now, it'll require more strain in the gym, but that seems like a pretty good trade-off if you have more fuel than at the table.
Do you know how to guarantee that Deeb wins this summer?
No. Tell him he can't.
Guapo, you want to prop bet me?
Oh, stop.
$100.
There it is.
That's it.
So for those of you that don't know, I think I've made about 5 prop bets here, and I've lost all of them, so it hasn't gone very well.
Your record ain't good, cuz.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good, cuz.
It's really the only person that Conrad can beat in a prop bet.
I don't lose prop bets.
That is true.
Hold on, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, all right? Like, other than
man.
like the stupid ones I make with you every once in a while, I have a very good prop bet.
I'll tell you what,
record.
buddy. You just keep riding that Cincinnati bandwagon all the way to the
Listen,
fucking bank.
you guys realize
Why do you love Cincinnati so much?
first of
The
all,
Bengals,
they just
the
beat
Reds.
the Mets. Oh no, it's just everybody you guys hate. Do you guys understand that?
Start jumping on the Cleveland bandwagon.
I'm
then.
getting on there next.
You might actually win that one.
Right after
You
they
might win
fucking get rid of Deshaun Watson.
You might win the Reds one.
I know I'm gonna win it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know you're gonna win it.
TJ Friedell's out of his goddamn mind right now.
That's my boy, man.
I know he is. That's why you guys are crazy betting against your friends.
Shout out to TJ. He's a gym member of ours. I'm not saying like he goes to a gym. Literally, the gym I go to is called The Gym. And he's one of the guys who gets trained there. Before we go on any further, I have a few things to announce. You guys are going to get pumped for this. We are going to start doing a giveaway every Friday starting tomorrow for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Actually, probably throughout the whole series. I'm not sure yet. We haven't come to a full decision, but it's going to be members only giveaways every Friday. So it's going to be a big thank you and a give back, I suppose, to all the members out there. As we mentioned, the members are going to get to qualify for the ability to be a part of any one of us on the tag team. I think what we're going to do is probably give away like one a week starting tomorrow. We're also, as always, going to have an academy seat saved for one lucky member. Probably going to give that away next Friday. Actually, we're definitely going to give that away next Friday. If you're interested in the academy, now that we've reserved one seat to give away, I believe we only have 2 seats remaining. So be sure to head over to academy.selfforwhy.io.
We're giving away a seat?
Yeah.
All right.
We always give away a seat.
Who are we giving it to?
Do you not listen?
They got to win something.
Jesus Christ, man. Like, are you even on the show? What the fuck just happened?
Do you guys want to win a seat?
My God. So if you're not a member already, go ahead and click that link in the description below. It'll be well worth it. So there'll be 6 people who qualify to be our tag team partners. We're going to be giving away an academy seat next Friday. We'll put up more information about that on social. And I think we're going to do like a 25K fantasy draft again, and make it available to members only.
That's
so
awesome.
We'll come up with some prizes, maybe some cash prizes, maybe some strategy stuff to give away, whatever. And we'll just open it up to only the members. I think that makes it a lot easier rather than what we did last year, where we just opened it up to the public and became a nightmare to kind of control from our side.
Wasn't it like 500 last year?
That was no, we did ODB's 25K draft. Well, 2,500 draft.
Yeah.
And then I created a fantasy draft of sorts for the WSOP main.
Oh, okay.
But I think like we'll just do both again for members only. right?
Okay,
It just makes sense. That way I don't have to collect money. Like them just being members qualifies them, and we can just put up a prize pool.
Okay, cool.
Seems a lot better from both sides. Collecting money was an absolute nightmare. We got nothing out of it.
Did you know that Chauncey has an Instagram?
Yeah.
His handle is I'll scratch your ass.
That's not true.
What are you talking about? Guapo, show it to him.
Yeah, I took some liberties there.
He actually has an Instagram.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
Yeah, Marley made one for him. It's it's like Chooch or something like that.
Okay.
I'll scratch your
He's a good boy. He did scratch my ass good. What the hell was that? Was going to transition into something. Now I don't remember.
Did I fuck you up?
Yeah, you might. Well, I mean, you got me pretty good with the what are we giving away?
You mentioned the tag team, right?
Yeah.
Tag team?
Yeah. Why am I censored? My nipple's not even out.
Yeah, your nipple was definitely
No, it's out.
Your
It's
nipple,
out.
they've been
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about your nipples for like at least 24 minutes.
You know, this shirt, I don't get it, man. I'm broad in all the wrong areas.
I'm gonna buy you some pasties.
I mean,
It's fine.
buy him some sleeves.
How about the tassels?
Summertime, man. We don't need
Just like
sleeves
some nipple
anymore.
tassels?
Yeah.
Guns out.
We were talking about that last night at Caitlin's birthday. Big shout out to Caitlin Komeski. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Caitlin.
We were talking about Landon's first strip club experience, and I was like, whoa, like, let's be clear. This was not really a strip club. And what it was, I can't remember the name of it, but we went there. Our friend Britt is like an aerialist. So she was performing like every 30 minutes in this burlesque show of sorts. It was actually a strip club, but prior to midnight, the girls aren't nude. So they wear like tassels and then, you know, they just dance around or whatever. And they're all like, you know, 40-something Eastern European women with these like nipple tassels on. And Landon walks in and it was like the den of sadness to him. He's just looking around. He's like, I feel so awful for everybody in here.
Dude, working at a strip club is so overrated. I did it for 4 years, and I remember when I first got hired, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's not. It's actually kind of sad.
Yeah.
What strip club did you work at?
It's called Spearmint Rhino.
Oh,
Yeah.
the strip club.
That is the strip club. I've only been to the strip club 3 times since moving here. All 3 were Spearmint
Bachelor
Rhino.
parties?
All 3 were bachelor parties.
Oh, yep.
Oh.
What?
What's tell the story about your one time at Spearmint Rhino.
Which with Denny?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. No, let's leave that one
Bro,
alone.
fucking
I think
Denny was out of pocket, man.
I think Somerville has a pretty good one too. I think D-Negs took him out to a strip club when he won his first bracelet.
Really? That's actually
This
pretty
is
funny.
before the big announcement.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, of course. My best friend Jace was in town for his bachelor party, and a lot of our high school friends came with, Denny being one of them. And Denny's married to way outkicked his coverage. He married like the number one athlete of our high school. And we get out here and he just blacks the fuck out on Lake Mead when we go boating during the day. So we come back to the house.
People don't understand, like, they come to Vegas, they don't realize that sun, they go out and drink all day in the dry air and the sun beating down on you. It does a number on you. There's been many victims.
I mean that would make you tired, right? Like, why does that make you incoherent?
It just makes you drunker. It just makes you black out quicker because you're just so dehydrated.
Is that true?
I literally
Yeah,
have
so.
one drink when
It
I'm
has
out, like
to.
out in the sun, and I'm fucked up.
Denny was fucked up. Denny was real fucked up. So we go back to the house and we get changed, and we're all, going to Spearmint Rhino. We have like one of those party bus limos coming to get us, which, by the way, this was hilarious too. The driver calls us and goes, hey, I need to pick up one of the dancers from the airport. Do you want me to scoop her first so she can dance for you guys on the way there?
Oh, you're missing a very important detail.
Go on.
Before the bus came, we came back from Lake Mead. We decided to go get all you can eat.
Oh, yeah.
All you can eat sushi.
Oh, yeah, that is
Housing all you can eat sushi. Then go to the strip club and black out.
this is a
What could go
very,
wrong?
very important detail. Very important. So Denny is not on an empty stomach any longer. We all hop in the party bus. We have this girl. By the way, how impressive is this girl? She gets on the bus straight off the airport, right? starts dancing, and she like bends over, and you just see this bedazzled jewel. I'm like, what the hell is that? And she's like, you like my butt plug? It's like, when did you slip that in there? Like, at what point? Is this mid-flight?
I mean, yeah, before, after, during.
Like, what amazing sleight of hand. So Denny's already like, you know, kind of nodding in his chair. It's 7 p.m. we
It was a little later than that, but yeah.
We go to the strip club. I hand Jace $1,000 and I say, have fun, buddy. And then I just like, you know, hang out in the front. Like all the girls know it's a bachelor party. They all come up and talk to us. And my whole thing is like, I don't want to be there really all that much. So I just try to generate as much free conversation as I can before they realize like I'm not the customer they're looking for.
We just got $1,000 super chat from Denny. It says, please stop this.
So I'm sitting next to Denny, and these girls are like coming up, sitting on our lap, chatting with us. I'm like getting the full life stories of these girls. Like I'm just enamored by what led them to this. Like I was going to be an astrophysicist, and now here I am. So you know, I'm chatting them up. It's like you can do anything you want. Like just, you know, you stick to it. And Denny's racket is he's telling all the girls that he's gay. So every time they sit on him, he's like, no, honey, I'm sorry, I don't like girls, and it's working. They're like trying extra hard now to get him to like get a dance or like, you know, like he's just getting full-fledged butthole in the face. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So finally he disappears, goes and gets a dance. Jace comes up to me. We've been there 35 minutes. And he goes, bro, I'm out of money. I go, Jace, I gave you $1,000. Lap dances are 20. What are you fucking doing, man?
Champagne room.
No, that's the worst part. Was it was abundantly clear. It wasn't like he did anything bad. He just got robbed.
Yeah.
Like he literally
It was
just
like,
got robbed.
they're like, oh, he's the bachelor. Okay. And then two girls just whisked him away into like the abyss. He was gone.
And he comes back in like 15 minutes. He's like, I'm broke. And it's like, you could say no when you're back there. You don't have to just empty your pockets.
Yes. Little negotiation, you know?
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing here? So now Denny comes back and he's like sitting there, and now he's like dead behind the eyes, right? Like he's had his lap dance, he's had his fun. He can't even pull off the I'm gay racket any longer. He's just sitting there like, and I'm like, oh boy, buddy, let's get you home before Jace makes me go broke and you get us kicked out of here. So now it's like 9 o'clock. We've been there for 90 minutes tops. I was like, come on, man. I got an Uber waiting for us outside. Like, let's get out of here, you know? And he's like, all right. So I get him in the Uber. Nicest Uber driver I've ever had in my life. Like, younger, probably like mid to late 20-something Asian guy. Had the whole car decked out. Like, you know, the chargers, the waters, everything that you could imagine. But he did not have the thing that he needs most when he picks up Denny from the strip club. And that is plastic on his seats. So we're like halfway home on Spring Mountain. We were staying on like Rainbow and Flamingo, I think. Like halfway home, and I just see him like get this look in his eyes. I'm like, don't fucking do it, man.
Yeah, he's gonna do it for sure.
And he just like gives me a look with chipmunk cheeks, and I'm like, don't
happen.
fucking do it. It's me.
Oh,
Projectile vomits all over the back of the Uber driver's seat. And the only thing I can muster up in the moment is saying, did you eat fucking oats?
That was rice. That
It just looked like he had an entire container of Quaker oats, like mixed with milk, and threw them all over the
God,
seat.
I am so
That was
glad.
sticky
that
sushi rice.
I am so glad that I did not answer your call that night. You fucking called me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and
Oh, I needed a ride so bad.
it was to pick up Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
no.
trying to have somebody pick him up so I didn't have to Uber out of there. Yeah, it was, and the guy was so nice. It's okay, man. It happened. Then he just continues to puke,
Oh my god!
and he just continues to drive. we finally got to the destination. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. I don't know what. And he's like, it's okay. And he has like some cleaner in his trunk. He's getting after it. So I leave him like a $200 tip. I'm like, this is the most expensive fucking bachelor party I've ever been a part of.
Did he get you charged the $250 as well?
That's what I was
No.
gonna say because I know Uber you usually get like a nice little compensation.
It's a $250 clean up fee charge.
No, he seemed to be happy with the tip. So we got out of that one.
You made $50.
I guess so. I guess so. I mean, I don't know, man. That was a rough one. I would have loved for anybody else to have been. And then everybody else got home like 20 minutes later.
That's great.
What the fuck is going on here, guys?
Well, Jace was out of money.
Everybody's out of money. Nobody has any more to give Jace. Like, and I know I wasn't the only one who gave Jace money either. That's the worst part. Like, I know Skippy gave him a few bucks, and like, you know, everybody was kind of throwing him a few dollars here and there. It's like, this guy's broke 30 minutes into the strip club. Like, act like you've been here before, man. Jesus.
Oh, he's from fucking. Where are you from again?
Leechburg, Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
Oh, you don't think he spent any time up in Katanning at the what the fuck was the name?
Teasers?
Teasers.
Lamanna's like,
He spent some time at Teasers. Lamanna's been to Teasers.
I've never been there.
Me either.
I've never been there. No, I've heard stories.
Way
about
too
it.
afraid I'd run into somebody I know.
Lamanna was a Canadian strip club type of guy when I realized.
That's facts. That's facts.
Can't not go to the Sundowner when you go to when you go to Canada to play poker. Especially when you're
Sundowner.
22 years old, and you know you're got a lot of money on you. Online poker was booming back then, man.
We used to play.
Somebody had to get the money.
We used to play this 5-5 or 5-10 game at Salamanca Casino every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes it would get a little light on players, so it would break early. I remember one night it broke early. It was me, Greg, Lamanna, and Brent, but you know Brent lived an hour in the opposite direction as us, so we left. And as we were leaving, this guy Chris, that used to play with us pretty much weekly, probably like 15 years older than us, probably like late 30s when we were in our early 20s. It's like, where are you guys going? We're like, back to Erie. He's like, oh, okay, me too. You guys want to go to what the fuck was the name of the strip club in like the East Erie area? I can't remember. It was BYOB though, and we all ended up there. It's just like, maybe you weren't with us.
I don't remember that, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe you weren't with us. But we somehow, I didn't realize like Chris was from like near Erie, like not close, but like not far. So we all end up in like this down bad college town strip club with like, it's BYOB, and I think Greg, I can't remember who was visiting, but like there were girls visiting us. So we tried to take them as well, but they wouldn't let us bring them in for whatever reason. Like I can't remember if it was because of their age or because of alcohol or like whatever the case may be. And it turned into a whole debacle, and Chris just powered through, went in by himself, called it a night.
Oh man.
Damn. There's something completely blacked. All right, never mind. I quit.
All right, well, let's get to this Viffer chat then, because these spaces have been popping. They're not telling these stories.
Are they popping?
I mean, they really do need to shift off of what they are, and they need to shift on to these kinds of stories. I think we need to hear more about like the debauchery that used to take place in the early 2000s, rather than some deadbeat debts and whatever the fuck Eden was talking about for 26 hours yesterday.
I don't even. For some reason, I feel like he's been on for like 48 hours straight.
It might still be going.
It might still be going.
Still go, or it was. It is still going right now.
I tuned in right before Caitlin's birthday, and he ended the space. Then the REA space began to discuss the Viffer Jungleman debt. I left for Caitlin's birthday. By the time I came back, 3 hours later, Eden had started a new space.
Yeah.
We're like, bro, when do you sleep?
And when he ended it before the birthday, I think it was like 24 hours.
Yeah, I think so too.
It
was funny. He goes, like I popped in real quick. He goes, oh, we have Matt Berkey here. Like, thanks so much for shouting me out on the Only Friends podcast, catching me snoozing. I think that clip is just so hilarious. This woman's like trying to tell a hand history, and he's just in the mic going, snoring.
I spent this total of 87 seconds in there. I'm very proud of myself for such things.
Good for you. Yeah, I'm trying to kick the spaces, man. It's like a crack habit. Like, I just can't spend this much time with these people. Like, can't we all go back to tweeting threads and shit? Like, just for a day.
Yeah.
You know, cleanse the palate a little. But yeah, these spaces they're interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. You do feel a little bit of FOMO whenever they're just rocking for hours on end and you're not paying attention. But I was able to catch the first third, I guess, of the REA space last night where they were discussing the Viffer Jungleman debt, and I find this to be interesting, at least interesting enough to bring up here because I have experience with both Jungleman and Viffer, both positive. I enjoy both of them for very different reasons. And I know that this has been like a really ongoing thing. It was compelling to hear everybody talk about it because the general takeaway was that like Viffer is just kind of grasping at straws here. But we all love Viffer and know that like this is a tough spot to be in. So I think everybody's like willing to hear it out and hash it out. So I guess let me catch everybody up on the details of what this is all surrounding. So for all of you who may be living on a rock, are you aware of Durrr? Have you heard of the man?
We've heard of him.
You've heard of Durrr? You remember the Durrr challenge?
Are you talking about the guy that lives in Macau and he's owned by the
Possibly, we don't know. He's an enigma at this point. So the Durrr challenge was a full tilt promotion of sorts where Durrr was laying 3-1 on 500K that he could beat anybody at heads up no limit hold'em or PLO. Minimum stakes were 200, 400, and the bet was 500K to win 1.5 million. So they would be playing high stakes no limit or high stakes PLO with a side bet of 500K where Durrr was laying 3-1. He won the first challenge versus Antonius. He beat him out of 2 million. They were supposed to play 50,000 hands. Antonius quit after 40, and they settled the rest on the side. I assume like the 500K and whatnot. He conceded. Jungleman was the second competitor. They played, I think, something to the tune of 15,000 hands, so roughly 1/3 of the challenge. And Black Friday happened. Once Black Friday happened, now I'm certainly skipping over a lot of details because
they played
20,000 hands.
20,000 hands.
Okay, yeah. So about, I guess, 40% of the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once Black Friday happened, a lot of things, got thrown into a whirlwind, and Durrr just stopped playing Jungleman in the challenge. And from what I understand, I didn't follow this that closely, but from what I understand, there was opportunity for them to finish it. I guess Durrr had played Isildur thereafter, lost a bunch of money. He also played, I believe, Ryan Fee and maybe a few others, all while ducking Jungleman. And the agreement was that Durrr would pay penalties all throughout. So fast forward to now, and I'm not precisely certain of the number, but it's somewhere around 1.3 million. So Durrr's paid like roughly 1.3 million in penalties. Which I believe they've now conceded the challenge as being over and basically saying like Durrr owes the difference to get to the 1.5, right? So basically the challenge has been conceded. Durrr owes the grand total of the side bet, which was 1.5 million. And it sounds like he's paid, I don't know, 90% of it, give or take, 85% of it. So he's paid somewhere around 1.2 or 1.3 million of that side bet. Now, where does Viffer get involved in all of this? Well, he and Durrr were friendly, or friends, I guess, throughout this whole process. And Viffer was super flush back in 2010, 2009. He was a major staple in the high stakes scene. You guys probably remember him from High Stakes Poker, from Poker After Dark. He's just a legend in the gambling world. He put down a bunch of action on Durr's side. And from what I gathered throughout listening to this space, he had a 10% crossbook with Jungle, and then a 10% crossbook with Scott Palmer, who, as best I can understand, Jungleman bought that bet from Palmer. I don't know at what point that happened, but everybody in the space seemed to agree last night that if Palmer had lost the bet, any arbitrator worth his worth a grain of salt would have ruled that Jungleman owed Palmer's side. So it appears that everybody's in agreement that Viffer and Jungle basically had a 20% crossbook when it's all said and done. Durrr beat Jungle beat Durrr for 1.2 million and change, like 1.25, something like that. So it sounds as though 250K is agreed, and everybody came to a consensus to agree that the crossbook at a bare minimum is owed. Now Viffer's stance was that because this was a full tilt promotion and they were the ones throwing the marketing dollars behind Durrr to initiate this challenge, that when full tilt collapsed, the onus should fall on them, not on Durrr, to kind of concede the match or to pay the difference. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, but where I think the failure comes from is that the bet wasn't made with full tilt. So full tilt didn't serve as the book in this instance. And if they had, then I think Viffer has a really strong case, right? If full tilt was the one booking all the side action, then of course it would probably be written into their guidelines that this falls under no contest. The same as it would if you book a baseball game and it gets rained out, right? Books already have that language into their contracts whenever you're betting. Unfortunately, when you make bets on the side based off of a market that's dictated just by peer-to-peer, you're kind of at the mercy of the players involved and the decisions that they make. So in essence, if Durrr concedes, so does everybody who bet Durr's side. And I think that that's the area that's a little bit gray that Viffer's kind of arguing against, is that like Durr's concession was only in his best interest because he could afford to concede and his reputation meant more to him than, playing this out or fighting it and getting a lesser penalty or anything of that sort. So it gets like really confusing. But on top of that, there's a third layer to this. It appears as though Viffer also had side action that I guess correlated to the 3-1 side bet. So it sounds as though he was also laying odds on Durrr to just win the challenge outright. And from his perspective, the challenge was never completed. So he's making a strong case, or he's making an argument, I should say, that he shouldn't have to pay that side bet because full tilt collapsed and Durrr and Jungle had never actually played the 50,000 hands. And that's what he was laying the 3-1 price on, was the fact that they would play over a large sample. What do you guys think as far as an outsider's perspective from the two different aspects? Like starting with the crossbook, like how do you feel that should be handled, even though it's been 12 years?
Wait, so what happened? No, I'm just joking. All right. So the latter of what you said, like it didn't complete yet. Mm-hmm. I'm actually on his side, I think, about this one, because he's betting on an outcome, like he is betting on the 50,000 hands to be played, or whatever the case, whatever amount of hands it is. As for the crossbook, I think that has to be paid. Like, yeah, I get that the challenge isn't complete, but at the same time, it's a crossbook and not. It isn't reliant upon the
completion of that.
Exactly,
yeah,
the
right.
completion.
Of the game.
Whereas one
that
is.
That makes sense.
Cross-booking is something I hear a lot. Can you kind of explain what that is exactly?
So say I'm playing heads up with somebody for $100, right? And somebody else cross-books me 20%. So we're cross-booking 20% of that action.
Right. So you're just reducing the stakes down to that percentage level. So if Durrr loses 1.2 million and you crossbook 10%, then you owe 120K.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think like I said, the one that included the completion shouldn't be paid. I think that's null and void.
Well, here's the thing. I think that the pushback to that is that the completion is
the quit.
Yeah, I mean there's nothing written into it that says 50,000 hands have to be played, right? Like that wasn't necessarily agreed upon. Now, don't get me wrong. This is 12 years old, and obviously the bet was made very frivolously.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the airball challenge that I just had, it was very clear to the bettors how this match ends. It can only end by somebody losing or paying $1 million or 100 hours being played.
Yeah, I'm actually, now that I think about it, the fact that Durrr played other people afterwards is kind of pushes back against the completion part.
Right, and Durr's like still in action now, so it's not like as if they couldn't have found a way to continue to play if they had chosen to do so.
Were there any heads-up matches going on throughout the full tilt time that continued after full tilt went down?
Well, I think Jungle and Durrr actually played at least a few sessions once full tilt came back.
Okay.
But no, the challenge was only him and Antonius, which Antonius conceded, and then him and Jungle thereafter.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I would say that he definitely owes the crossbook. That's not even a question.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, and I think even Viffer agrees with that. So now there's this $250,000 outstanding debt that Viffer owes and is admittedly saying he can't really pay.
Okay. What
then do you think is a fair compromise now that it's been 12 years for him and Jungle to work out?
I mean, that goes on. It's going to have to be however Jungle feels, honestly. Like, this is on Jungle.
Well,
like,
kind of.
He's owed $250.
Of course. Like, he can agree to, it's on him to agree to the terms. But what I'm saying is, in a situation where you understand that the debt can't really be realized, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, Jungle almost has to like.
Sure, he gets
out,
a public win here,
right.
But
yeah, he kind of just has to figure out what he can get.
Yeah, no,
and then or think what he thinks he can get, and then try to like negotiate.
Honestly, if I'm Jungle, I'm like, if you want to make this right, what like how much could you pay? Honestly, when it comes down to it, how much could you pay and still live your life? Like, to a certain extent. Yeah. Because when it comes down to it, it's like 12 years later, and like it looks like Viffer kind of wants to make things right or something. Yeah. I don't know what's going on right now. It's way too much. But
I think personally, if I were Jungle, I would offer him two options. I would offer him a yearly like slow payoff
payment plan.
Yeah,
that seems like the most reasonable thing to do.
So like just try to pay me $25,000 a year for the next 10 years.
Yeah, interest
free. And it's like that's already a huge deal for Viffer because it's now 22 years that he would get to pay off $250,000. Right. Where Jungle could have been earning off of that $250,000 the whole time.
Of course.
Or pay me in one lump sum, and I'll give you a big break. So pay me like $150,000 in one lump sum, or in 1 year's time, right? So you can either pay me the full thing over the course of 10 years, or you can pay me like 60% of it in 1 year's time.
Yeah,
and I'll accept either.
Yeah, but like,
is there any way to enforce this? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Connie. What if Viffer's just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just not going to pay? Like,
I mean, it's very viable.
Yeah,
but
this isn't something that
he's literally, he was there for 11 years. Like, he doesn't have to bring himself into the spotlight right now.
No, but he's in the spotlight because I think that the public perception of Viffer is that he welches on bets or welches on debts, and that's not necessarily true at all privately, right? Like this like what he's doing now does show good faith. Like he's trying to reach a resolution, even if it's one that is a little bit skewed towards his bias, right?
For sure.
So I think that his reputation matters a lot to him. I think that, he is in the gambling world and probably will always be in the gambling world in some capacity. He has a lot of his friend base here, and he probably wants to make this right, if for no other reason than to ensure that his name still has like some good standing within the community. And then from Jungle's side, it's like, yeah, it's a large sum of money. Like, it'll always be a large sum of money no matter how much you're worth, but it's not going to change his life one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I think like trying to reach some sort of resolution here that allows you to get paid something is a lot better than nothing. It also shows like a lot of grace and leniency, I suppose.
Sure.
To a debt that is 12 years old.
When it comes to gambling debts, though, as far as like litigation,
no,
there's nothing that can really be done, right?
I mean, there might be like here's the simple answer. Yeah, there might be enough. There might be enough on record, like between texts and conversations and everything else, where Jungle could win a court case, a civil case. But then what? All that happens is Viffer gets sued now for $250,000. Jungle wins that case. They both owe lawyers, and he still can't pay.
Yeah,
so it's like it's so much better to handle this in the way that they are going about it right now, in my opinion. And there's still something else like looming there. It's still a matter of this side bet. Like, what, if anything, do you feel that Viffer owes from the side bet?
Yeah, I don't know about the side bet. He was giving 3-1.
I think so. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I think so.
It's so annoying because like when you put something like a bet like this and you're laying 3-1, there should be an end time to the bet. So like
Right.
50K hands or something like that.
Well,
And
that's the issue is
when
that from his standpoint, the odds didn't factor in an early quit.
exactly. And you
Right.
don't get like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so finicky.
I think a very fair compromise would be him paying 40% because that's what the challenge was. That's how much of the challenge was completed.
40% of the 3-1.
Of whatever the side bet was, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what that number is. I think they were saying something like 85K or something like that.
Yeah.
The issue that I think that's also running into, and again, I'm just reading this secondhandedly from like the text messages that Jungle shared today, as well as having sat through that space for a portion of it last night. Viffer seems to want to basically put him and Tom kind of as a package deal. So I think like he's fighting for the fact that like, well, if I win the compromise that I only owe 40% of the side bet, then Tom should also only owe 40% of the side bet, in which case now he's owed a refund.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that means
Right.
Viffer had Tom action, or Viffer's trying to work something
Either
out.
way, like whether he
Yeah.
had Tom action or like Tom
Kicks him back.
can kick him back a few bucks or can like help him pay off the debt himself, or they can lump it all together and now Viffer's kind of off the hook. I don't know. But my whole point is that when you start to try, now it becomes slippery for Jungle because now he can't offer much of a compromise if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because it now sets a different precedent than what has already been set.
Yeah.
Durrr has conceded the challenge. Durrr has been paying off the penalties. Durrr owes, a small amount left on the side bet and seems to be working towards paying it. And that was all a concession that he had made. If Jungleman now turns around and says like, all right, Viffer, look, like I think you owe me the entire side bet based off of what Durr's actions were, but I know you're in a hard spot, so I'll cut you a break. You can just pay me 40%. We'll call it quits. If Viffer then says like that sets new precedent,
Viffer's a genius.
where now Durr deserves a refund.
Viffer's a fucking genius.
Right? And
My God.
and he's trying to get it arbitrated where he's like, either we settle this where we kind of like squash it or we take it to arbitration. And if we go to arbitration, I think that people will rule in favor of Durr where, he only owes 40% of that side bet instead, in which case now.
My God.
It's
So
tricky,
somehow
man.
he goes into this owing money or knowing he owes money personally, but somehow he might be able to collect the check from it.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll
absurd.
necessarily be
I
able to
know.
collect a check, but I think he may be able to like,
Watch his
watch
name.
the debt.
Yeah,
Watch his
the
name,
debt.
which is
Right.
collect the check,
Yeah.
honestly. He's owed X amount.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very tricky spot. And I don't really envy anybody having to come to a conclusion. I do think that like, from my standpoint, like somebody who's been in this industry for a long time, I don't really think there's a whole lot of leg to stand on whenever it comes to, in this instance, Durr only owing a portion of the side bet. Reason being is the same reason why if Airball had quit me, he would have owed the entire $1 million. Right. Now, granted, we had something in place where it was like for every match that he ducks, he owes 10K. And once that 10K accumulates to $1 million, then he's scot-free. So we were a little bit more careful with the language that we used and like how everything worked out. It was a lot more clear, I think, to everybody who was side betting, etc. But Jungleman absolutely has to be compensated for the fact that the match didn't finish because he was willing to finish the match, right? So I don't think there's any world where we can make an argument that Durr only owes 40% of the side bet. I just don't think that world exists. If you want to create a world where like outside bettors who bet under the premise that the match would like always conclude only owe a portion of the side bet, I'm okay with that, right? Because it doesn't impact the person directly. Like imagine if this wasn't a debate between Viffer and Jungle, but instead like Viffer and some other third party who had just bet on the match. I think like now it's just kind of like up to the two of them to reach a compromise and, you know, speak with an arbitrator if they want to and kind of come to a conclusion where it has actually no bearing on the outcome of the match itself. But because Jungle was involved, now Jungle is kind of in control of setting a precedent or setting a new precedent by trying to offer a little bit of grace. And that becomes a really slippery slope because if it then spins around to, okay, well now you owe Durrr $400K in return.
Back tax.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
My
like
God.
that can't really work that way. I don't think.
What was this other Viffer thing? Viffer Deeb.
That I don't know. It seems as though I don't know, man. I couldn't really keep up. I didn't listen to that space. It seems like it had something to do with Viffer, Deeb, and JRB.
Yeah.
And it was a very small number. It was like 25K or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And best I could tell, like they like loosely lit. I honestly, if I had to guess, it probably had something to do with the Durrr challenge as well. Probably like a side bet or something along those lines. But I believe the outcome was they let Josh Aryeh and maybe Rob Young.
Yeah, it was Rob Young.
Arbitrate it.
And they said Viffer didn't owe.
Correct. And I think that was pretty meaningful because I'm pretty sure that.
Oh, here we go.
Good.
Deeb bought Viffer's debt from JRB.
Oh, okay.
Without Viffer agreeing to it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear cut. Well.
Deeb bought from Viffer.
So Viffer owed like 25K to JRB. JRB sold it to Deeb for probably less. And now Deeb. That's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with the ruling. And I imagine that you just have to factor that into the discount that Deeb paid to buy the debt, is that you're just not going to be able to collect. Right? Like that's why you buy the debt cheap. So say it was 25K and Deeb bought it for like 15. Yeah. You're getting the 10% discount because like you're just not going to be able to collect, 40% of the time. Yeah. And I think this falls under that where it's like it's weird though because like obviously Viffer doesn't.
Also, JRB's still breathing.
Well, I mean, if Viffer doesn't owe Deeb, then he definitely still owes JRB, right?
I mean,
so now JRB just gets the double collect. But I would imagine if that were the case, if Viffer did pay JRB, then I think JRB would have to refund Deeb. Right? Like he can't double collect on the debt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Buying debt doesn't really work unless you're dealing with a third party entity. Like people were selling full tilt dollars. I think, the going rate was like 80 cents on the dollar back when it collapsed. That works because you just collect from the individual that sold to you, right? Yeah. So like there's no third party withstanding. It's just a company.
Yeah.
People were buying like FTX debt at like 10 cents on the dollar and shit like that. These are just balance transfers. So like that kind of works. It doesn't really work all that well whenever you buy up debt unless you're in the mafia, right? So like, grandma's not going to go to Josh Aryeh for arbitration. He's just going to show up at Viffer's house and break his ankle. Sure. And you say, you owe me, that kind of thing. But honestly, like, I know that this all appears annoying to the outside looking in, especially because I think the poker community as a whole is, it's divided more so now than ever, where there's like the elder statesmen who were around during all of this time. And then there's everybody else who, not necessarily by age, but their time in the game isn't all that much. So there's plenty of people my age that have only been playing for like 5 years. And this is just noise to them. They don't give a shit. Like that's not part of their environment. There are people like Landon who this sounds like folklore to. You know what I mean?
So the Apollo said, but Viffer still owes that money to someone. Are you all saying that he's off the hook now? What does it matter who the debt is sold to? I don't understand.
How about you don't read DePaulo's name just because he has a check mark too? We literally just addressed that.
I love DePaulo.
We literally just said he owes the money to JRB.
Yeah, that's what. Okay.
All right.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's
Shout
what I
out
thought
to
we came
DePaulo.
Fuck DePaulo.
Yeah, DePaulo, I can't wait to have you back in studio here. What are we gonna do? 3 days a week during the
Annoying
series?
the shit out of Berkey.
We're gonna get
Oh,
it
it's
popping
great.
this summer.
Yes, can't wait.
Let me know when
Anyway.
you're free.
As I was saying, I think it's important that this stuff plays out publicly because it does allow people to understand like what the gambling environment is like at its core and was like before we kind of got into this more advanced space, right? It's still like this behind closed doors. We've just created a lot more fail safes in place with hard vouchers, with keeping receipts, having messages back and forth, all this other stuff. On top of that, though, I think the way that, back then, your biggest concern was that somebody would welch on a debt. Now your biggest concern is that you're getting cheated out of debts, and that there was, every time a prop is offered or odds are laid or whatever the case may be, you have to do so much due diligence to ensure that one side isn't scumming the other. You have to make sure that there's a handful of prop bets that come to mind. I don't want to really go through them publicly because I don't have enough confidence to necessarily insinuate that somebody was cheating or whatever. But there's enough of them that come to mind where it's just like, it makes so much fucking sense that the two parties involved were working together, right? Like what happened with Coleman. You look at it from the outside looking in, almost certain he was just getting teamed up on here, and the people he thought he was that were competing against each other were actually working together.
Yeah,
and that just happens so frequently because in any trust-based system, you're going to be able to game it very easily by just earning people's trust and then rugging them.
right.
And that's doesn't just apply to gambling. Carries out into the crypto space, into the financial
NFTs.
markets. Yeah, the NFTs. Like,
How many people are holding Pepe bags right now?
Right.
what is the deal with Pepe? Why do I see it all over my timeline?
So
It's just a meme. It's a meme coin that
they've been setting
they
up.
pump it up, right? And then all the developers make all the money, and everyone is
Dude,
retail's left holding the bag.
They've been setting up this Pepe rush for like 3 years now. So like, there's a NFT that's Pepe, I believe, or something along those lines, and like it's the frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that frog that Joanne always sends. That's Pepe.
No, I know what Pepe is.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm saying, so like they've been just like,
But why now? What's happening? Because like Mycon was a big bag holder of Pepe, right?
well, he was the NFTs, I believe. Not the. I think the coin, the shit
the
coin just
and the
launched.
NFTs are different.
The shit
Yes.
coin just launched, I think.
Okay.
The
And
coin
the-
just launched, and it went through the roof.
And now it's
Right.
obviously going down, and everybody should have shorted
people
the
just
fuck
rub-
out of
yeah,
it.
right. It's just a pump and dump, and it's like
How does this still work?
it keeps happening. It's amazing
What do you
that people
mean?
keep falling for it.
Melissa showed
People
me.
make money.
Melissa showed me like the little
Right,
misses
but
or
most
something
people
like
lose
that.
money.
Well,
right?
yeah,
a very
of
very small percentage of people make a bunch of money.
No, of course.
and everyone else loses.
Whoever's there at 7 a.m. when it pops up, and they're like, and it's not a honey trap.
but right, but most of the time it's like it's the developers and it's the people at the top that make
How
all the
can
money.
how can he make the argument that people make money after he held Amazon Visa stock for like
What is Amazon Visa?
whatever the fuck you had while you were dealing Poker Out Loud, telling us how it was going to the moon and it was worth
Guys,
zero within an
Guys,
hour.
it was a honey trap.
No, that
Like
was
all
different.
all those coins, that's literally the same thing. So like Pepe could have been a honey trap. It's literally the same thing.
It's like
But-
you buy in and then you can't cash out.
Yeah, but like it's different. Like they all come up as like whatever kind of coins they're called.
Meme coins.
No, but like they all just they just pop up on the site, and you can just buy them immediately or whatever. And some of them are honey traps or
There's
bullshit,
altcoins.
and some of them go to the fucking roof like Pepe, and you have fucking millions of dollars.
Your whole life is a fucking honey trap, man.
It is.
I gotta tell you.
fucking honey trap. I can't believe I got honey trapped there. I was up like 1.7 million.
I can't believe it. It's a honey pot, by the way.
Honey pot.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Don't forget, we are going to be doing member giveaways every Friday now, probably until the end of the World Series.
Get that
We're going to have a
membership.
lot of good stuff for you guys, including an academy seat, the ability to be our tag team partners, as well as the ability to enter the 25K draft. We'll be giving you guys details throughout the weeks to come. Be sure to tune in. Tomorrow will be the first giveaway. So if you're not a member already, go ahead and click that link in the description below. It'll take you right to the page that you need to. Click that member button and keep rocking with us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be an evening pod. We're going to get lit on a Friday night. I promise you it's going to be a good one. We'll see you guys 6 p.m. tomorrow.
We're getting drunk tomorrow?
You are.
Okay.